It's the network, bruh. And the phone battery dying, so y'all probably won't be able to hear any bruhs right now for some reason. I don't know what's going on with my old ass phone over here. I had it on the charger. That's weird. What's going on with y'all today? Let me just put it on this computer, this phone. I got two phones. It's the NetworkBruh in the building. Today's lab is configuring default static routes. The objective of this lab is for us to learn and understand how to configure default static routes. By default, no default routes exist on a Cisco IOS router, and I'm going to show y'all what happens when you try to look, when you open up the routing table when you first come in. So we only need 2 routers for this. This should be a real quick lab, but y'all know I like to talk shit and let people come in, let the late stragglers come in, and really and start maybe about 5 to 10 minutes into the stream here. But while people are coming in, let's just drag and drop 2 routers. All we need is 2 routers for this lab. Router 1, router 2, back-to-back cabling serial. This lab calls for a serial cable. However, I don't need one because I'm using GNS3 according to the book. And that guy is going to be, he's router 3. No, he's going to be router 2. Fat Finger Squad in the building. R2. That bad boy right there is going to be R1. We're going to cable them bad boys up like this right here. I believe it's going to be serial 00. But we got gigabit ports, gigabushi ports, as my man Easy would say. Escape right there. We got our labels right there. This, let me get the labeling and cabling right. Why is he router 3? Oh, you know what? Because I had dragged and dropped some test routers earlier. So I want him to be router 1. And he don't want to be router 1. And I don't want to restart it. So unbelievable. Will he change if I put him here? Will he change if I change that to R1? He don't want to change the R1 like that, y'all. Even when I do a text edit like this, he just don't want to change. Oh, you're killing me, man. All right, I guess you're gonna be router. You know what? Let's do this. Just because of that, we're gonna move those bad boys out the way. Oh, you know what? This is another lab. Today's lab is configure default static routes, isn't it? Let me verify that with y'all. Yeah, default static routes. And yesterday was naming static routes. So I got to rename this. That's what it is. That's what it is. Okay. I see what I'm doing wrong here, y'all. Let me close this. And hopefully, y'all can hear me, right? But we need to set up Discord. Sometimes I need to reach out to you fellas. Yeah, we need to do that, man. We need to start like a little community and stuff, man. Call it the Fat Finger Squad. Maybe like using Slack or something like that. New blank project. Let's do that. And then let's call him default. I guess I got to rename that other one. Default static routes. And call it like that. And then drag and drop 2 routers. I know. Let's be acting funky with me. He gonna be R1. Next guy gonna be R2. That's the reason why I was having issues right there. Cable them bad boys up. GI 00 to 0. Get the labeling and cabling. Speaking of labeling and cabling, guess what, y'all? I got my access server finally working. So pretty soon we're gonna use some live equipment, and then for y'all to see, I'm just gonna like maybe draw using Visio or Draw IO so y'all can see the topology. But I'm gonna use my physical equipment because y'all know I have a lot of equipment here, and it's been collecting dust because I use virtual simulators like GNS3 and Packet Tracer and stuff like that. But I want to bring this stuff back to life and actually use my hardware. So I finally got my access server working. So basically what that thing does is a terminal server. It allows me to console into all of those devices at the same time, and I just got to use secure CRT and tab over to router 1, router 2, just like, any other simulator or whatever. So I am pretty stoked about that. Y'all give me a second. Anybody got any questions so far? He said that the thing is, I started the first course, so there's things from volume 2 I already know, like TCP, UDP. Yep. We got S Smooth in the building. What's going on, S Smooth? Representing out of BK. You need to, refresh. We can hear you. Okay, perfect, man. Y'all know I've been having a lot of technical difficulties lately. I've been either I forget to click record, or I forget to put my camera on. Forget to unmute my microphone. Just disheveled. All right, so let's get some labels here for these bad boys. That interface right there is going to be 192. He's going to be 192.168.254.1. Subnet mask of /30. Got with me so far? This guy is going to be .2. So 192.168.254.2/30. Y'all don't let me make any mistakes here. This should be a real quick and easy lab. Let's go ahead and power these bad boys on. That's the reboot. We're going to console on the router 1 and router 2. Let me get the bruh button. Do they have a bruh button on the iPhone? They do, but it's a different version. You can press how many times you press bruh. They got the yeet soundboard. I guess I'll get that one. The bruh button with the game. Okay, so we're gonna console on these bad boys. Y'all gotta excuse me. Install. Gotta get my water. Y'all know I get me a gallon of water. Okay. Man, getting prepared while I'm streaming here. What's wrong with me, y'all? So we got router 1 and router 2 right here. We got our interfaces, and that's what they are going to be addressed as. We're consoling the router 1 right now. We do have to change the host name, don't we? Yeah, because I got these new routers that don't keep the host name. Oh, you know what? Because you gotta be able to, you gotta change the template for it to do that. So let's go ahead and console on the router 2. Man, I'm excited, y'all. I got my terminal server going. I'm just really stoked about that, man. I know that's kind of like old school and stuff like that, using hardware. Nobody really does that, but I love hardware. I got this right here in my room, and yeah, really excited about that, man. I know it's yeah, it's gonna be using up a lot of energy and stuff like that, but I'm just gonna power it on only with our lab, and I only lab for about an hour or two, so it's not like I'm gonna have these bad boys on 24/7. Whenever and you see, this is another reason why too. Whenever these guys decide to wake up, that's when they're gonna work with us on the lab. We ain't gotta worry about that with my hardware. I'm gonna get them things up and running, labeled and cabled up, and then y'all ain't gotta worry about that. We just gonna get to labbing, you know. But as you can see, it takes a minute for these bad boys to wake up. Well, that's going. Anybody want to talk about what they did today? Today, you love hardware too. That's what's up, man. I'm gonna do a video on my lab. You see how long it take these bad boys to wake up? My actual router they quicker than this. Or maybe I should, like I said, once we get to the more complex topics, and later on down the streams, or maybe even the next book, I'm gonna do the labeling and cabling and power these bad boys on offline before we start streaming. So that way we ain't gotta worry about this right here. And plus, I like to, like I said, talk shit at the beginning and let some late stragglers come in and stuff like that. So today, again, we're doing default routes, right? Static default routes. Says here, Static default route configuration is a fundamental skill. Default routes are used to forward traffic to destinations where the router does not have a specific route to its routing table. If you guys don't know, if it's your first time tuning in, we usually get our labs hands-on from this book called 101 Labs, Cisco CCNA version 4. You can get a copy of this from 101labs.net, learn by doing. It's authored by Paul Browning and Farai Tafa. There's also a link in the description box below. You click that, it's going to take you to Amazon, and you can get a copy of this book. I believe it's like 40 bucks, so that ain't nothing, because this book right here, experts agree that we retain only 10% of what we read, but 90% of what we do. So this book, yes, we got some reading to do in this book, but you do most of the reading in your theory, like the official cert guide, or, you know, how to CCNP book, the how to route, right? Those books. This is more of a hands-on, you know, lab guide, lab manual that we use to follow and actually practice the theory hands-on. And that's why I love this book, because like they said, we retain 90% of what we do. So I'm a kinetic learner, so I like to be hands-on, and that's how I feel like I learn. You know, it's just like driving. You know, you could read the theory all day, you know, take a driver's license test, but it's not until you're behind the wheel that you really learn how to drive a car, right? So default static routes. So the way I like to explain default routes, remember what we said, the difference between a static route and a dynamic route, right? We said a static route is kind of like, so we got these routes. We're trying to get to a city, right? A static route would be like a physical map with the red line taking you to your destination, right? From start to finish, right? That red line is your static route. Whereas a dynamic route like EIGRP or OSPF, that would be kind of like a GPS. So, you know, you have a destination to get to with your GPS, but if there's a crash, it's going to tell you to go to a different route. If there is too much traffic, it'll move and dynamically change the route to get you to your destination. And that's the beauty about dynamic routes. So what we're doing is a static route, but it's a default static route. Now, the way I like to explain default static routes is just like the map to the city, right? It's just like the map with the red line to the city, right? But a default static route is like, let's say you're trying to get to a city, I don't know. I usually use LA in my examples, right? Let's say you're trying to get to LA, right? And you're in your neighborhood. Now, you don't know how to get to LA, right? But you know how to get out of your neighborhood, right? That road that you take to get out of your neighborhood, like, okay, I don't know how to get to LA, but I know how to get out of this neighborhood, out of my complex, right? You take that road to get out of your complex, that would be considered your default gateway. And then from there, you try to figure it out by going from hop to router, et cetera, from junction to junction, to city, till you get to LA, right? But again, that default route is what gets you out of your neighborhood, or maybe even out your city. But I like to use neighborhood because that's like, it's local. So, and usually a default route is set to a local router. Now you can share these default routes, but that's another topic. So that's like redistributing default routes. There's so many things you can do with default routes, but that is what a default static route is. So a default route is a sort of a static route. It is a static route, but they call it default because you're not specifying exactly the city. You just like, you're trying to get to you ain't even trying to get to LA. You're just trying to get out of your neighborhood. And that would be the default route. So you getting out of your neighborhood. From there, you can figure out what city you want to get to if you really want to. So I hope that makes sense. Anybody got any questions so far or anything like that? I hope you got your routers powered on. Let's see, router 2. Let's see if he decided to wake up. And look like he did. First step, we got, how many tasks we got here? We got 4 tasks. So we should be done. I want to try to finish this, and it says here 10 minutes, but y'all know I talk shit and I do the lesson, the theory and stuff like that. So it takes a little longer than it normally does. And they consider this lab has a difficulty rating out of 6 out of 10. This should be simple. So first thing, task 1 was to configure the host names for router 1 and router 2. Right now, they're just labeled as router. Let's go ahead and do that. That's the easy part, right? We all know how to change the host name on the router. Change him to R1 just like that, right? And then the other guy, he gonna be R2, right? Y'all know how to do that. Wait, he is router 1, and he's supposed to be router 2. He router 1, he's supposed to be router 2. Look at it, I already made a mistake, y'all. What's wrong with me? Don't let me ping the same router from the same. Don't let me ping the same router from itself, y'all, like I did yesterday. He is supposed to be R1, host name R1, and he is supposed to be R2, host name R2, right? What we do, we verify when we do our work, right? There's no other way to verify the host name, I believe. I don't think. You can do show CDP neighbor, I believe, right? Show CDP neighbor, and we'll see. No, you don't. He don't have default. I don't think CDP is enabled by default. But anyways, we can do it this way. We can do show run and then include host name or whatever. And that's how we verify it. Come on, man. We got to do what do right there. And we'll see that E is R1. But we could also see it in the prompt right there. Same thing with R2. So that's easy stuff. Y'all know how to do this. Task 2. Configure a back-to-back serial connection between R1 and R2. Well, you know what? I don't have serial. I have a gigabit Ethernet port. So I only had to put that there. And not only that, it says here, configure the DCE interface on serial 00 on router 1, which will be this guy right there. So to provide clocking to router 2, which is that guy right there, at a clock speed of 256 kilobytes per second, right? So if you guys are using Packet Tracer, y'all can go ahead and do that. Or if you have any serial interfaces, y'all can go ahead and do that. But guess what? It says here, ignore this if you're using GNS3. And guess what I'm using, y'all? In case y'all don't know, GNS3. But pretty soon we'll do some hardware, right? Task, I guess we're halfway done already, right? Do y'all want me to wait on anybody that's still labeling and cabling with the serial cables or anything? Anybody got any questions? And there's no such thing as a dumb question, y'all. Remember, we are all, this is a safe environment. You know, if you don't know what an IP address is, guess what? We gonna tell you. If I'm not gonna tell you, Gonzalo gonna tell you. If I'm not gonna tell you, or if Gonzalo's not gonna tell you, Plant-Based Brother gonna tell you. You know, this is a safe space, and ask the dumb questions now. There's no such thing as a dumb question, but you know, ask the simple questions now, because after this we gonna get to BGP and route reflectors and all kind of like difficult stuff, man. That's like way difficult than changing the host name and configuring IP addresses. So task 2. So we're halfway there, right? Task 3. Configure IP addresses 172 or 192.168.254.1. So that right there. And 192.168.254.2/30 on router 2 on their interfaces respectively. Configure the loopback addresses on router 1 with the IP addresses illustrated in the topology. Well, guess what? Y'all don't see what the loopbacks are. Y'all can follow along here, or hopefully you got the book and you'll see. This is a learning environment. That's true. That's true. That's true. Y'all run me with that like button, y'all. I'm pretty sure, since ain't nobody asking questions, I'm just gonna assume y'all know how to do this already. This part right here, at least. So we got to do the interface. On router 1, GI00, his IP address is 192.168.254.1. Subnet mask of 2/30, so 255.255.255.252. Y'all know how I got that, right? Let's do a show IP interface brief, and we'll see he is down, right? Because we know that router interfaces are admin down out the box, right? So we got to no shut that bad boy to bring him up. And then we'll do the same thing on this guy. So we're going to configure the IP address on that GI00 interface. Remember, once we get to more harder topics and stuff that's going to take a lot more time, I'm going to do this offline, and y'all not going to see this. We just going to get straight to whatever we learning that day, right? His IP address is 192.168.254.2/30 subnet, which is 250. Not 254. Did I put 254 on the other one? Let me make sure. 252. Okay, good. Verify, and then when you're done with that, verify it again, right? When you're done with that, run the show command and verify it again. Let's do that anyways. So show IP interface GI00, and then just do include internet, right? And there he is. He's /30, and we're gonna do the same thing on the other guy, right? Boom. Come on, man. Boom. And he is 168.254.1/30. Okay, we good. Love your channel. Appreciate that, Matt Jones. Appreciate that, man. Y'all hit me with that like button if you really do like that. But if you really do like this channel, man, let me know you real, man. Configure the loopback interfaces on router 1. So we're going to go to router 1, which we're already on him. And we're going to configure some loopbacks. Loopback 100, loopback 101, and loopback 102. With their IP addresses 172.18.0/23. Oh, they got some funky subnet masks for us today. I wasn't prepared. I didn't use my app today, but I'm gonna try to do some mental subnetting for y'all. So let's go ahead and get these loopback interfaces, right? He said loopback 100, 101, and 102, right? So we're gonna go to global config mode interface loop 100, right? He should come up automatically. His IP address is 172.18.0.1. Subnet mask of /23, which is 255.255. he said /23, so it's going to be one less than 255, so it's going to be 254, right? Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. 254.0, right? Let's verify our work with, oh, he got to be a .1. Fat Finger Squad. Fat Finger Squad in the building. I'm going to put that on the shirt, y'all. Fat Finger Squad. IP interface brief. No, IP interface Loopback 100. And then let's just do include internet. And he is /23. So I was correct there. We need to do Loopback 101. Interface loop 101. His IP address. I'm gonna trust my subnet mask, but I'm gonna check them later. We do gotta verify. I know y'all know how I am with the verification. We always gotta verify. Even the book, after we're done with this lab, they need us to run some show commands to verify anyway, which I haven't been doing with y'all. I haven't been reading the solutions. There's been notes towards the end, and I haven't been reading those. So I'm gonna make sure we go over that. To like yesterday, they wanted to make the point that you cannot see the name that you put for your default static routes or for your static routes, right? You had to actually do show run and then include route to see it. So there's no other show command to see it, right? So his loopback 101, his IP address is 10.100.100.1 and it's /26. So that's 255.255.255. It should be 128.192, right? Let me check that anyway. Do show IP interface loopback 101 include intern, not internet, /26. So I was correct with that one. The next one is going to be interface loopback 102. 102, right? And his IP address is 192.168.30.1. And right, 192.168.30.1, yep. And then the subnet mask is /29, so that's 255.255. Yes, 192. That's correct, Gonzalo. What I said for this one is gonna be /29, so that should be 255. That's gonna be 20. That's 24. So then this will be 240, 248. So 248, right? And we could run a show command to verify that with 102 include intern. Y'all with me so far? Y'all see what I'm doing, right? I'm just basically putting the IP addresses for the loopbacks and then verifying what the subnet mask is, because y'all know I'll be tripping when it comes to the subnetting part. So /29, right? He says /29 for this one. Yeah. Let me just verify too, because I got the old version and the new version of the book. Y'all with me so far? Anybody lost or anybody figure out like what the hell is this man doing, man? Like default static routes, he talking about some getting out of the city and going to LA, man. Like what is all this, man? Basically, we're creating a route from router 1. I believe it's gonna be router 1. Okay, so that was task 3. So we're gonna create we created loopbacks on router 1. So I believe we're gonna go from router 2 and then ping those loopbacks going there, right? So task 4, this is the final task, y'all. I guess for once we'll be able to get this done in 30 minutes, right? So configure a static default route from router 2. So we're gonna go to router 2. Make sure I do it this time. From router 2, pointing to router 1, which is that guy right there. Ping each loopback interface configured on router 1 from router 2. Verify your static route configuration. So that should be really easy, man. So to create a default route, remember we said the syntax for a static route is IP route, the network address of where you're trying to get to, the subnet mask of that network address, and then either the exiting interface or the next hop address, right? So like from here, we would do IP route. Let's say we was trying to get to that network, right? It's already connected, but just, for hypothetical, for just example, right? So we would do IP route and then the destination network address, which in this case would be 254.0, right? So 192.168.254.0. It would be IP route 254.0, and then the subnet mask, which is /30, so 255.255.252, right? And then the exiting interface, which to get out of router 2 is gigabit 00, right? Or it will be the next hop address, which would be 254.1, right? But we're not doing that. We're doing a default route. The default route is I don't know how to get to that city, but I know how to get out of this neighborhood, right? And the way we do that is IP route, same thing as a static route, because typically, or can essentially a default route is pretty much a static route because you're statically configuring it, right? So we're saying configure terminal to go there, and then IP route, and then it's quad 0, right? So all zeros, and then the subnet mask. Well, not really subnet mask. It's more the wildcard mask in this case, right? So it's all zeros, right? And when we say this, we just saying, look, we just trying to get out of the neighborhood. We don't know what it is. We just trying to get out of the neighborhood, right? And then from there, we could either put the exiting interface, but they asked us to do a default route, which is just that. We could do the forwarding routing address. It says just one default route. So that's pretty much it. To get out of there, and we'll do the exiting interface, which will be gig 00 in this case, right? So gig 00 should be the default route without gateway. It's not a point-to-point interface. Oh, so we can't do that. Interesting. Okay, so we are going to have to create a gateway, but I don't want to do that right now like that. Let's use the next hop then, because I think you could still do that. I think we can still do that, right? So we do show IP route. I believe we did. We created him anyway, right? Did we? Nope, it's not. Because this is the thing too. So here's one way to verify it. Show IP route like this, right? This gives you the routing table, right? You get the codes right here to tell you what type of routings they are. And then when it says gateway of last resort is not set. So basically you saying, remember the route that we're using to get out of our neighborhood? We don't have that route yet. And it would be defined right there if it was there. So it's not there. So that is not what we can't use the exiting interface in this case. I don't think. So let's do this. IP route, and then let's try the next hop. We'll use next hop 192.168.248. Did I make a mistake there? I did 248 for the other guy, didn't I? I'm just or I'm reading your messages late there. So we said the next hop going to be 192.168.254.1. So we're doing this, right? Instead of using the exiting interface, we're using this next hop address to get out of our neighborhood, so to speak, right? And then we verify our work with a show IP route. So let's see if he's defined there now. Nope, he's not set. Interesting. I would have thought, because you set the default route to be there, I put 168.254.1, right? Didn't I? I did do that, right? 192.168.254.1. And then I would have thought, is he no shut? Let's verify he is up. Show IP interface brief. I know you used exiting interface and it worked for you. Okay. I thought because it's not showing the gateway of last resort that I didn't set it. So maybe I could use the exiting interface. Oh, that's why he's down. That's the reason why. So that's the reason why, plant-based brother. I believe because I did not turn up this interface right here, and I wish that GNS3 would at least give us red lights or green lights if they're up or down, right? And because this interface is down, that's why he's not working. So let's try that. Let's get rid of that. And I was thinking that too. I was like, did I turn them up? I thought I turned them up. So let's get rid of this default route right here. No IP route. And then let's turn up. Basically, we're gonna turn up this interface. This interface was down. It's green, but I thought GNS3 at least shows it red when it's down, but it's not. So GI00 and then no shut. Thought I turned them up. Maybe I turned up router 1. That's probably what I did. Let's look at what's going on with router 1. Remember, verify, and when you're done, verify it again, right? Show IP interface brief, exclude unassigned. So those guys are all up. And then now that interface is up. So now let's use that first route with the exiting interface, right? Which was this guy right here. He still gave me that error. Default route without gateway is, if not a point-to-point interface, may impact performance. So he gave us that error, but I think it still takes it. We can verify that with show IP route. And now we got default gateway. Y'all see that? Now we have a populated routing table. And this is what I was talking about. This is what I was looking for. The reason why I didn't come up was because that interface was down. Gateway of last resort is quad 0. I like to call it quad 0 or 0.0.0 to the network 0.0. So basically, if you don't know where the hell you're going, you can take this way to get out of your neighborhood at least. And that's why they call it the gateway of last resort. Y'all remember that. That basically means the default gateway. It is essentially a static route because we statically configured it. But to get out of our neighborhood or to get out of this router, we got to go use this exiting interface, GI00. But they said to network, this is kind of like, it's almost like saying to just go to any network. This is what they're saying there. But this is what's called a wildcard mask, right? Let's take a look at this routing table here. So we have a S right here, which basically means static, right? It's a static route. We said what the static route is. We statically configured it. We manually configured it. We got this little asterisk right there, or a star. That lets us know it is a candidate default, right? Where's that at? It should be in here. He's not in here. Interesting. But I know that the star means candidate default, but I don't see it. There it is right there. There it is right there. What am I thinking? Network blind in the building. So the star, the asterisk means candidate default. Basically, if you got a whole bunch of routes, right? And they're all to specific networks, right? Specific destinations, right? One of them could be considered your candidate default, meaning like, okay, we could use this to at least get out of our neighborhood if we don't know how to get somewhere. And that's what we're doing here. So this static route is considered a candidate default. And not only that, he defined them as a default gateway right there with this line right here. Y'all remember that. So when y'all reading a routing table, you do show IP route like this. You're going to have the codes. Pay attention. Like really learn how to read these routing tables. I'll be having, like even when I was, even now I sometimes have difficulty reading them, right? But we know that the codes are going to be at the top. We're going to have the default gateway, if there is one, set right there. And then more specific information about the routes, right? So this is the static route we configured right here. He said it's directly connected, so it really don't matter. Like, it's really directly connected. We have, where's the administrative distance and stuff like that? Isn't that on here? I guess not. But anyways, a static route, the administrative distance is, it's 1, but it's also connected anyway. So that is y'all pop quiz for today. What is the administrative distance for this route? Is it 0 or 1? I know we about to wrap it up, but and Plant-Based Brother used the exiting interface too. So yeah, that was my problem, Plant-Based Brother. I did not, that interface was not turned up. So yeah, that's y'all pop quiz for today, man. What is the administrative distance there? We did show IP route. We could also just filter it down to just show IP route and then static. That'll filter to just our static routes, right? Stack, if I knew how to type. We do that, right? We could also do local, right? And then filter just the local routes. No, you can't. What else could you do? I thought you could do that. It says loops. You ain't trying to look for no loops. You can do sunny routes. I thought you could do just local routes, but they're not learned. They're just there. So. I guess not. But anyways, the C lets us know that they are connected, and the L lets us know that it's an interface that is on this router. So this right here is directly connected, and then the L lets us know that is the interface that is on this router. So right, like that right there, 192.168.254.2, right? Not .0, but .2, right? That is that interface we connected right there. So we need to see if we can ping those loopbacks. Do we even have routes? Yeah, we should. Basically, this is the default route, so it should be able to. So basically, what we need to do is ping from router 2 to those 3 loopbacks that are on router 1, right? Y'all with me so far? So let's go ahead and ping that bad boy right there from router 2. Let me make sure I do that from router 2 and not router 1 like I did last time. Pray to the network gods and hope that it do it, and it does. So we got 80% complete. One of them was a dropped ARP packet right there, as y'all can see, right? That's why we got, so we ping it again, we'll get 100%. Let's see if we can ping the other loopback. We should theoretically be able to get to it because even though we don't have, it doesn't say on our routing table how to get to 172 or the 10 network or this 192.168.30. We do know that, he said 30? Yeah, I guess he did, it was 30. We do know that we at least know how to get out of our neighborhood or out of our network with this default route. And that's what should theoretically allow us to ping all them loopbacks right there. That make any sense? So we're going to ping that second loopback, which was 180.1, right? No, that was the first one. We need to ping that bad boy right there. And then we're going to ping that third one right there. And then we'll call it a night. So ping that guy. Pray to the network gods, and we got 4 out of 5 pings. Do it again, and we're good to go. I am pinging from the correct router, right? This time, plant-based brother. What was wrong with me the other day, man? Ping the same router from the same router. This guy. Ping the third router, or the third loopback rather. So router 2, if y'all don't understand, we got 3 loopbacks that are on here. We're having router 2 ping the first loopback, ping the second loopback, and then ping the third loopback. Even though he don't have networks to those, he don't have routes to those, but he has at least a default route to get out of his neighborhood to get to those loopbacks, if that makes any sense, right? So from router 2, we're going to ping that third loopback, which was 192.168.30.1. Pray to the network gods, and we got 80% complete. Ping it again, we got 100%. So we good to go. Next time y'all want to follow along, make sure you get a copy of this book, 101 Labs, Cisco CCNA version 4. You can get a copy of this from 101labs.net. It's authored by Paul Browning and co-authored by Farai Tafar, who is a CCIE. Experts agree that we retain only 10% of what we read, but 90% of what we do. And that's why I like this book, because we do things hands-on with it, and we have something to follow along after we read a whole bunch of boring theory. You can also get a copy of this book with a link description in the description box down below. It is an affiliate link, so I do get commission if y'all get it. You good this time? Appreciate that, man. I'm like, I thought, y'all know I'll go back and watch these streams. I'm like, what is this dude, man? Acting like he's smart. Yep, we pinged it and we're good to go, y'all. So we're gonna wrap this up until Plant-Based Brother was like, hey, bro, I think you should ping it from the other router. I'm gonna make sure we're pinging from the correct router this time. So, if y'all like what y'all see, man, make sure you hit that like button. Share these videos, man. We're gonna try to get more people to watch this stuff and join us, man. I've been appreciate you guys. I've been getting like a lot of messages on Twitter and Instagram letting me know like, hey man, your stuff is fun. And I knew I need to pick back up on those tutorials and stuff like that. But this live streaming, man, I love doing it with you guys. Y'all make it super fun for me, man. And I'm gonna get this hardware going, and maybe we'll start doing labs with my live hardware as opposed to GNS3, which be acting funky sometimes. And I've got serial interfaces. I've got a whole bunch of toys over here. So let the jokes spring it in, man. Appreciate that, man. I try to keep it. We got like this. I ain't gonna say this stuff is boring, but some of this material can be pretty dry. And there's a lot of. I'm not gonna name any YouTubers or any instructors or anything like that, but they just really make it like, man, I don't want to learn this shit, man. Like this stuff, man. But I try to make it fun, So, make sure you share these videos, man. Let anybody know that's trying to get into, networking, computer networking, route switch. I love doing this stuff. So, make sure they tune in, subscribe to this channel. We do this Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Typically, that's the schedule I've been doing. But this weekend, I'm going to do it all weekend because I ain't got no life, right? No, I'm just kidding. It's just I ain't got my daughter, and she's on spring break and stuff like that. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do some more live streaming. Plus, I want to knock this book out right here, right? The Cisco CCNA book that I keep promoting like I wrote the damn book. But there's a CCNP version of this, and that was actually the test, the certification that I was studying for. I just used this book to go back and cover some of the basics and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff that I did not know. Like I didn't know you can name a static route, like little things like that. So, just to get the, fill in the gaps in my knowledge, my CCNA knowledge and stuff like that. Tomorrow we are going to do configuring, I believe, IPv6 routes. If y'all know anything about IPv6, right? What is it? Oh, the solution too. What was I going to say? So yeah, we've recovered the gateway of last resort. I did that. We pinged it. Yeah, and that's the other thing about this book. If you get stuck, there's a solution guide right after the lab that show you what you did or what you should have done to get it up and running, and we got it all up and running. There's no notes or any caveats on the side. Tomorrow's lab, well, yeah, not really tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow we're going to do it, even though it's Friday. Lab number 43, configuring IPv6 static routes. So we're going to be doing static routes, but we're going to be using IPv6. If y'all know what that is, that's pretty much the future of IP addressing, right? They've been saying that for the past 10 years. But it is what it is. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. Y'all hit me with the comments for anything else y'all want to see. Hit me with that like button. Share these videos again, man. Please share these videos and have people join us, man. If you're on a Cisco Learning Network, let them know about this channel and stuff like that. Have them join, tag along, because we're doing CCNA stuff. And after that, we're going to do CCNP stuff. And after that, we're going to do maybe like some Linux stuff, and then maybe some CCIE. Who knows? But sky's the limit. So for now, comment, like, subscribe to the network.